Hello and welcome to the APTA Grand Prix Series. We are live at the Chicago Charities, hosted by the beautiful Glenview Club in Gulf, Illinois, on the APTA network presented by eNet Live. I'm Rodney Workman, along with four-time national champ and Hall of Famer Patty Hogan, and it's time for the women's semifinal match. Patty, who we got out there today?
Well, Rod, in this match, we have our tournament number one seeds, defending national champions, Gabriella Niculescu. She is teamed up today with Martina Andrekova, and they've forged their way through this tournament so far, and they kind of look invincible to me at this point. But I mean, anything can happen in a paddle match, and the number 8 seeds are going to take their shot today. And we've got Suzanne Lemery teamed up with Kelly Rohrbach for this semifinal match in our Grand Prix series here at the Chicago Charities.
Well, we've got a beautiful day, but the sun is going to be a factor out here. Bright in our eyeballs, looking due east, but it's a gorgeous day.
It is. I think that all 4 players were out here yesterday. They're used to the sun and the movement of it. I believe they played all their matches here throughout the day yesterday here at the Glenview Club, so I think they've probably got a pretty good plan in place.
How'd they get here, Patty?
Well, this is an incredible tournament. We had 54 teams that started play. We've already had by the time this tournament is over, after the final today, we'll have had 122 women's matches played here.
Wow.
And the great thing about these tournaments, Rod, for those people who are just getting into paddle, is that the APTA and APTA sanctioned events, you're guaranteed 3 rounds of play. So even though the great teams kind of will go through the draw, sort of as expected a lot of the time, all these other teams, I mean, they're not one and done. They are out here playing all day long, and that's what makes the paddle community unique. As adults, Rod, we get to come out and play this game, and even though you might run into a top seed, it doesn't really matter. You're going to go play, and you're going to find your place in the draw, and that's what makes these tournaments exceptional. And Chicago is just so welcoming to every player.
So each team seeks their own level.
Every team finds their own level.
Perfect.
Whether they think they're in that level or not, it always plays out exactly as it should. Gabby and Martina are just on a run from last year's national win. When I watch their progress as a team, it really started here last year at the Charities when they won that 3-set match out here. And
I remember that.
You could just see they became a team that day. And prior to that, and we saw it a lot, Rod, yesterday, where you have beautifully talented paddle players out here hitting the ball hard. But then you come across teams in this sport. And our number 1 and 2 teams, that's exactly what puts them at the head of the field here today. So to bet against them, I wouldn't do it, because you watch them, and Gabby and Martina are just machine-like with their efficiency. They have very few wasted points. Gabby has eliminated, I would say, 90% of her errors from her game 2 years ago. And she just got bought into the paddle mentality, and as a player with weapons out here, she's figured out how to measure her shots and then be explosive when she needs to. She's got that amazing overhead that really can determine the outcome of matches. And then she's got the perfect complement in Martina as a partner. And, when you talk about traditional teams and a setter-upper and a hitter, I don't really buy that so much with this team. I think Martina has proved to us over and over she's really the glue on that team. She's rock solid, but she can bring it on offense. Last year in the Nationals, we were a part of watching their path to victory there, and we watched maybe 3 of their matches in a row, 16 quarters, semis, and Dardis and Shay are phenomenal, but what those guys did and how efficient they were, they capitalize on all their opportunities. Martina applies pressure, and so I love offense comes from both sides.
Yeah, there's no easy spots to bail out your shots here. Gabby's got one of the biggest forehands in the game, and she's got that full Western forehand grip, but I'm impressed the way she changes her grips quickly for screenshots to her drives. She's comfortable in all the grips. And her partner, is just rock solid. She's very tall, solid fundamentals, so it's going to be tough to beat.
So you know a little bit about our Chicago team. Why don't you tell us about them, Ron?
I do, and again, Sue and Kelly have been getting better every year, inch by inch, incrementally, which is sort of what it takes in this sport to crack the semifinals of a major. And Kelly was a gal who I hired, I think 10, 12 years ago, and she came from the Bel Air Country Club in sunny Southern California, was thinking of moving to Chicago. And I asked her if she was crazy because it gets cold in Chicago. But I said the only way you'll get through the winters in Chicago is if you learn tennis. She was one of the top 2 or 3 players at UCLA. Great, solid fundamentals, and just has a heart of a champion. And Sue is just rock solid, real aggressive ground strokes. Again, there's nowhere to hide her either. She can hit the two-hander or the killer topspin forehand, and she brings a lot of aggressive play. Kelly is just a complete, solid, vanilla player. Big, solid forehand, doesn't miss any wires, good volley. And so together as a team, they've synergized and have put together a good run here. And I am going to have to go with the Chicago team with my heart. So Kelly spent a lot of time with us up at the On Wednesday Club now. She's at the Winter Club teaching, as Sue being at the Hinsdale Golf Club here locally, and they both have improved tremendously.
Well, I think every paddle match, you need 12 games at least to win it. And you just play a game at a time. And I think with the competitive background that Lemery and Rohrbach bring to this match, I don't expect them to go away. I think they've had a great tournament so far. Suzanne is back from giving birth 6 months ago to her second, Jameson. And I'm sure Jameson and Jackson, who's 2.5, are home watching their mom on the live streaming. And, I saw them a little bit in the last 2 years, and they are an explosive team at times. And they'll just have to figure out if they can bring enough offense here and variety and possibly deception, because the wall that Gabby and Martina serve, second to none in the game right now.
Exactly. And I think that, they will definitely not be afraid to play long points, Kelly and Sue, and try to maybe take the air out of the ball a little bit. And they've got that game. They can play some fast paddle, but they won't have near the weaponry that Gabby and Martina have. But it will be a great match to watch, very entertaining for the fans. These are 4 of the best players in the world, and we're in the semifinals of the Chicago Charities.
And to the left of the chair, serving from the ad court, is Suzanne Lemery. And in her deuce court, but not her partner right now, but just for the warm-up, which you'll often see in women's matches, that's Martina over there. To the right of the chair, serving from the ad court right there with the long-sleeve gray sweatshirt, is Gabby. And that's Kelly Rohrbach serving from the deuce court to the right of the umpire.
Gabby's got the Wilson sweatshirt, and I think all players are serving from the side they're going to serve from in the match, so they're getting used to serving into the sun, which is a great idea for you fans out there.
And this is so fun. We're here live on ENET, and this was one of the APTA's initiatives several years ago, and now these guys follow the Grand Prix Tour and bring a professionalism to this that's second to none in the field, and we are honored to be a part of this broadcast team for this semifinal match.
We certainly are, and I want to give a shout out to Jerry Vion, who is our director of live streaming, has done a great job with Yeoman's work on getting this more organized, better camera angles, giving us good guidelines to work with. So thanks to Jerry and the guy from ENET Live, Rick, and his sidekick, Brian. They are here for the 6th or 7th year, I think, and they continue to get better every year. This live streaming gets higher quality, and we're very fortunate to have that.
My silver-tongued co-announcer here, Rod Workman, is a pro in this area, and he's second to none, and he's had the opportunity to see this game go through so many stages of growth, and the progress is so much fun. But most importantly for you, and what I've always admired and respected, is the mentoring that you do as part of this game, and as a fellow PPTA pro. That's a big part of this sport, and it's the camaraderie among the pros and the sharing of information.
Welcome to the semifinal match.
Well, thanks.
Of
Makes our
women's
sport special.
And it's a treat,
APTA
you know,
Chicago Charities
commentating with a
tournament.
Hall of Famer right here by
starting
my
to the
side.
left
But
of the chair
it truly is fun, as I gave Kelly her
will be
first
Suzanne
paddle lesson
Emery
and spent a number of years
from
playing with her.
Downers Grove, Illinois, and Kelly Rohrbach from Lake Bluff, Illinois. To the right of the chair will be Martina Andrakova from Stamford, Connecticut, and Gabi Niculescu from Norwalk, Connecticut.
Just minutes away from showtime. And
Lemery Warbeck won the toss and
the nerves are probably still there a little bit. It's the biggest match of the year for both teams, and once they get their first game or two under their belt, they should be fine. If you're still nervous after the third, fourth, or fifth game, gang, you've got problems. You've got to be able to relax and focus on your game plan and have your good dominant eye control, which is just a fancy way of saying concentrate.
We are lucky to have Bonnie Dooman up in the umpire chair. You'll hear her voice often, keeping the score for us, thankfully. And she is a volunteer here, one of the 40 volunteers that this event, the Charities, has to help make this event, you know, to help pull off this event, make it one of the most successful tournaments every year.
Wonderful. And I tell you again, I got to thank Rick for providing a microphone for the umpire. So that's another notch up for us. Here we go. A good blitz from Kelly. Love 15. And that at this level, the blitzing off your partner's return is what separates the best from the good. Again, just
Little
sneaking in
shaky
there.
start there for our national champion, Gabby, but she'll settle down. A lot of nerves as expected out here to start.
But it looks like the game plan early for Kelly and Sue is to do some blitzing off the returns.
I think they've got to do that. I think they've got to manufacture some offense in this match. They got to catch our national champs by surprise from time to time.
And there's a cardinal sin for you fans out there. Rule number one is never drive a ball in the net. You know, they're mostly tennis players first. They'll hit a lot of out balls. All you got to do is give them a chance. There's the blitz. Good volley from Gabby. Kelly retreats back and gets into her defensive position.
Right, I love the camera angle here where you can see. Whoops, not that one.
This is unbelievable.
But that was a great spot drive by Kelly Rohrbach from the ad court off the right hip of the volleyer.
We got 30-40.
First break point.
What a volley.
And I love how low Gabby got down on that ball. Quiet hands we talked about yesterday, Rod. She'll make very few volley errors.
You make a good point on the quiet hands. You almost have to absorb. And you can't hit the volley. You have to absorb the power. Great blitz. There it is again. And the early break goes to the 8 seeds.
Warbeck, they lead 1-love.
They're up 1-love.
I love that start for Lemery and Rohrbach. And they are out here playing with Viking balls. Viking is the official sponsor of the APTA, and Viking is a tremendous contributor to the growth of our game, and they help us fund some of our new initiatives, and they supply balls for all nationals and all Grand Prix events.
And I'd like to give a shout out to my friends Liz, Dick, Duke, Brian, and Freddie Uline. Freddie Goldenberg is a board member from Atlanta, just created one of the best public centers in America down in Atlanta. Her talents and skills are going to be very well received by this association. She's amazing.
So we've got Kelly Rohrbach here serving the first point.
Love 15.
Rohrbach. It's 1-love in the first set. Kelly Rohrbach serving. Already a little bit of chalk talk. Strategy right away, Rod. We'd love to see that.
Well, with Kelly, you're going to see a ton of it. Kelly is a cerebral player, and she will think about how she's going to win this match at all times. She's always got a great game plan. Look at that dig off the screen.
Rod, this is the angle I was talking about when we're low in the court. You can see how calm Martina are and Gabby.
Great overhead by Martina. Got the perfect nick. Ball exploded right up the side screen. Unreturnable winner. Is that love 30?
Right away, showing a different formation.
They will mix it up constantly, trying to find something that works. Gabby's got that great Western forehand. She can just turn the doorknob, as we teach, with that grip and get a nice roll on the ball, keeping it low.
And that's when I refer to the efficiency of Martina and Gabby as a team, that's exactly what I'm talking about. When they get the short ball, they capitalize 95% of the time.
Just like tennis, gang, you have to keep it deep out here. If your balls are landing short, the better teams will pounce on it. You're going to need a helmet and a flak jacket up at the net because you're going to get peppered. 15-40, double break point. Good eye from Susan. 30-40, Kelly Rohrbach to serve. Kelly's fundamentally sound. Great spot. Martina low up the middle, causing confusion. Confucius say down the middle for confusion in this game.
We have a break on a break to start this match. I believe we're at 1-all in the first set.
Yes, we are.
Martina Andreikova is serving.
Both teams got broken serving into the sun. Now we'll see if they can hold with the sun behind them. Look at Kelly, has just a great roll forehand. She's going right for that right hip. She knows that's the chicken wing spot and get a lot of loose errors. 15 love. $30 love. Can't afford to miss screens, but you know the sun's going to affect that side on the screens, Patty.
We're at 1-all here in the first set of the semifinal match of the Chicago Charities.
Martina serving.
30-all.
30-all.
Martina is Federer-like to me, Rod. When I watch her, how she carries herself throughout every tournament, every point I've ever seen her play, she is poised. She is a competitor. She's a remarkable player, except when she faults.
Out. Yes, you must have jinxed her there. Just a petite puh.
Spot on broadcasting.
See, there's just a little bit of confusion with Kelly and Susan. If Susan's going to blitz, Kelly's got to commit to putting some velocity on that drive. You can't just hit a medium drive. You got to put some pace on it, and she got caught in no man's land trying to sneak in. Kelly's shaking her head. She knows.
So Niculescu and Andreikova are up 2-1 here in the first set. And Rod, again, when I talk about efficiency and the ability to capitalize, Gabby and Martina will do that throughout this match. I mean, Kelly and Suzanne, I think, are going to have to play a career match to pull this off.
I'm with you, 100%. They are going to have to get a few lucky let cords at timely times and just play their hearts out. But yeah, at this level, you want to come off the court having made less errors than the number of fingers you have. That puts you in the match, and if you can only have 5 errors or less in an entire paddle match, then you're getting up there. It's tough to beat.
Suzanne Lemry is serving. She's wearing that red t-shirt with white sleeves. That was Martina Andreikova hitting that forehand drive through. She's in all black, playing the deuce court.
And there's Gabby, who's got that super spin overhead that you don't see as much on the ladies' side, but you're seeing more and more of it. Those who have it, like Roxy yesterday.
I see it. I saw a lot yesterday.
It's coming.
Rod. Yeah.
And you have to have it. It's the new game. If you don't add that to your arsenal, you're going to a gunfight with knives.
Love 30.
We just heard the voice again of Bonnie Duman. She's back as our scorekeeper and umpire.
Great volley. There's a blitz. Susan hit behind the blitzer, and it was a winner. 15-30. 1-2, 15-30. Can't give away points. Susan knows that. 15-40. There's the blitz. Well executed. Now you got Susan and Kelly on the wrong sides, out of court. Let's see if they try to flip it back.
Then ball was good.
Overrule.
Game under cover.
Our audio on the umpires coming in a little choppy, but that was game.
Niculescu and Andreikova lead 3-1. First set, semifinal match. Best 2 out of 3.
Lines are tougher to call when you got a glaring sun like this, but they are overruled by the official. Great volley that Gabby pulled right off her shoe tops.
I love how low she gets. For players at home, that's how you can become a better volleyer.
Kelly's got to put a little more aggression on that return if Susan's going to blitz. Look at that, through the wickets, good hands. Again, why do you lob out there? So you can eventually drive. So all Kelly and Susan are doing is trying to get the lobs deep. There it is, got their drive. Little sneak. All right, start it up again. Patience. Can't afford those errors. Rich Mayer always used to say, who won multiple national championships, maybe even double-digit national championships.
11, I think.
Never lob long. Just push them back off the net, create some space to drive. Great return, inside-out forehand from Kelly, clean winner. Another great return, great dig from Gabby. Got to get her feet moving. Susan's got to bounce. Keep that motor running up there. Another great return from Kelly. I think we're at deuce. I
believe that's right, Rod.
Trying to read the lips of our umpire.
I was thinking about Gabby and Martina as a team, Rod, and all the tools that they bring to the table.
Tons.
The only suspect spot in Gabby's game is her serve. To her credit, she's working on it, starting to hit it with more spin from time to time. And I think as her serve and overhead, you know, hitting a little bit more of a spin overhead maybe, that could help her spin serve a little bit. But that's about it for me. I've not found any other weaknesses.
Serve is pretty solid, but I'd say the same with Kelly, is her serve can get exploited a little bit. Good attempt from Susan again. Never in the net. I teach my students my favorite Broadway play is no net when you're playing paddle. You just can't hit it there. It's like leaving a putt short on the golf course. Add in, good huddle up here from the defending national champs and the #1 seed.
Up 3-1 in this first set.
And a hold, taking them up to 4-1 first set. Getting a little momentum here early, but as we know, this is the ultimate racket sport of momentum. Leads evaporate quickly out here, Patty. We don't know why that is. Have we figured that out yet, Patty?
We haven't figured that out yet. We've figured a lot out. One of the things we talked about yesterday was about how it seems like every 3 games there's a momentum change. So Kelly and Suzanne have to hope that that holds true for today.
Mm-hmm.
Kelly Rohrbach serving, 4-1, first set, Chicago Charities.
See, there's the serve I was telling earlier about. These gals are going to tee it up and might force Kelly and Susan to both play back at some point. If the game plan isn't working, if you're going in and getting bombarded with killer forehands, you may go to plan B, which is a perfectly acceptable formation. Both back, give the net up. Why try to volley a ball 60, 70, 80 miles an hour off your shoot tops? And you don't even get into the points versus staying back and getting some action. The 11th commandment of paddle is thou shalt not fault.
Gabby and Martina played Patterson. They have a tournament, big-time tournament under their belt. Sometimes when you start these tournaments early in the year, it's hard to get your confidence going on your serve.
Well, you got to relax. If you get a little tension in your swing, like any sport, you're going to be prone to mistakes. Good blitz. Susan was trying to, I think, draw some body there as the ball goes out, and another break, going up 5-1.
I think she couldn't believe her good fortune that she actually had an easy ball.
It's too juicy. What a volley. Notice how low she got down there, Patty. To your point about bending your knees and getting down, she's textbook on that. Great rip from Kelly Rohrbach, former UCLA tennis standout, and her father, Chicago Cub catcher, Kenny Rudolph, in the 70s.
They were the Miracle Mets. These guys may need a miracle here.
They are going to need to be the Miracle Mets. And what a chicken wing forehand Kenny Rudolph's daughter just hit. How about those Chicago Cubs, world champions? Chicago will never be the same.
We talk about that chicken wing volley. That's the credit to the driver because they've spotted their drive off the right hip. And when you have a team who forms a wall like Gabby and Martina do, that's really the only spot where maybe you can break down a team and produce an error or a shorter ball.
Exactly. And I go back to Kyle Hendricks, one of our aces for the Cubs. He doesn't throw hard, but he hits the spots, and that's what these gals are very good at. Kelly's awesome at that, finding a spot, not power, but placement. Look at that aggressive roller. And too much to handle.
So that's
Game in
the
first set to Gabby and Martina. They cruise to 6-1 in the first set. We'll take a quick break and we'll be right back on the APTA eNet Live.
Red Bull gives you wings.
This is a call to the committed. To those who wake up with a desire to do more. To those who won't stop until they reach the finish line. Calling all champions. Advocare. We build champions.
It's Rodney Workman here speaking on behalf of one of our lead sponsors, Save-A-Tree. Are your trees and shrubs ready for a harsh winter? Our sponsor, Save-A-Tree, can help with a complimentary tree assessment of any storm damage that is waiting to happen. Save-A-Tree's highly skilled crews perform many services to help your trees and shrubs weather the winter, including pruning and anti-desiccants to protect against windburn and dehydration. With expertise in urban and suburban markets, Save-A-Tree is the perfect choice for tree and shrub care. Call Save-A-Tree or visit us at saveatree.com.
It's kind of like having insurance, Rod. If you know Save-A-Tree and you have them in your pocket, when that terrible day happens and you have the tree down across your driveway, you need Save-A-Tree.
And we get ice storms and we get snowstorms in Chicago, so hey, Save-A-Tree. Thank you for the sponsor.
Suzanne Lemery serving. Start off the second set. We're in the semifinals, the Chicago Charities.
And
second stop on the Grand Prix Tour.
What a drop volley by Susan Lemery. And in spite of the skeet shooting in the background, we heard 2 shotgun blasts. We're all safe. They shoot in the opposite direction.
I thought that was a Roxy forehand.
Sounded like it. We might test the player's mental armor here.
So, Rod, I know you're thinking you're going to ask me, what would you do right now if you're Lemery and Rohrback to come back in this match?
Can I ask you a question? What would you do if you were Lemery and Rohrback to make a comeback?
Well, I don't think Gabby and Martina are going to get sick and have to default this match. So they're going to have to figure out how to, we talk about building points all the time, and I think they have to do a better job of when they do get an opportunity, spot the drive a little bit more on the right hip. But I have always thought the way you break down a great team is you've got to spot lobs as well and focus on getting the balls up higher and build those points and be on the lookout for offense from both sides. They just can't rely on one formula for offense.
And I would say at this stage, to a certain degree, it's not time to go into extreme lob mode and just take the total air out of the ball and try to rope or dope a victory. But if I'm Kelly and Susan, I know I can't get in a hitting battle with this team. They're too good. So at what point in time do you just go to plan B, change the tactics strategy? But another great low, full Western forehand from Gabby at Susan's shoe tops. Tough to handle. Here comes the blitz. Just great trench warfare up there. I like it when you get all players at the net. It doesn't happen that often in paddle, but it's happening more and more, which creates more of an exciting play.
I believe it's 30-40 here. Sorry. Suzanne Lemery serving.
Ouch.
I believe that's game. That was
game.
Suzanne Lemery faulting. And our national champs are on a roll here. They're up 6-1, 1-0 to start off this second set match. I think, Rod, the skill level that the top players have, and definitely the top 4 women's team in the game consistently, can go from offense to defense to offense to defense. It's effortless, and I think I would never say only lob. I would say you've got to be looking for opportunities to continue to build points over and over.
Well, the only lob program just could try to frustrate them and make them bored. You get players this good, you got to try to bore them. There's nothing wrong with boring in this game. There's a lot of vanilla players who don't have the firepower, but look at that forehand from Martina. Just a howitzer forehand right to the chicken wing.
But I can't tell you the difference with Martina from so many other deuce score players in the game. She spotted that shot, and she produced that chicken wing volley, as you referred to it, off the right hip. I can't tell you how many times yesterday I just saw the players bring heat, hit the ball as hard as they could, but exactly to where the player was set up for a backhand volley. The top players, that's where they're efficient. They capitalize on those opportunities.
Great lob up the line from Kelly to take the net over. They survived the barrage of balls, but once again, Martina can drive the ball on both wings, making her double trouble very tough to contend with.
Martina serving 30 love. Second game of the
Great
semifinal
return,
match.
Susan.
Second game of the second set.
Yeah, Martina and Gabby get their lobs nice and high.
Right there, Kelly had an overhead. I think she had to, you know, unless they were going to go after Martina, I think she's got to hit a more offensive-minded overhead.
Got to compromise your opponents with shorter lobs. If you give them a routine double screener, you aren't doing what you should be doing.
And that's where the spin variety that you see, particularly out of Gabby, is so effective out here.
There's a perfect drive.
Great spot drive. Right
Once
hip
again.
of Gabby. She was smart to let it go through, chase it down.
Jake Arrieta location. Another pitcher from the world champion Chicago Cubs. Look at Gabby. Here. Good coverage, Martina. A little ham and egg going on back there. Overhits the lob. That's always one of the most frustrating errors where your partner's running back. You're just trying to give her time to get back and you miss the lob. They're human.
That's Andreikova serving, dressed in all black. 30 all.
Foot fault called. First one of the match.
.30-40.
Little let cord winner there. That's what I said earlier. They're going to need some of that stuff. And they broke right off the bat again. They did this in set one, and that was the only game they got.
Hey, and you never know. You know, sometimes a lucky let cord shot could change it for your team.
And I'll tell you, I would be both back right now. I would not be up there. I'd get them both off the net and just switch to plan.
See that spot drive again by Martina? Right off the right hook. Suzanne standing up there. I think Suzanne could move over a little to her right to not expose that right hip so much.
I would tactically switch it up here.
And just right there where Kelly had the short ball, it's not about the pace at that point. Martina Gabby formed their wall. Now it's about that spot drive. That has to be the overwhelming thought, and that's what should determine what decision she makes, what shot to hit.
Love this camera angle from up above, the bird's eye view. And so they're not getting into any points this service game. Moving forward, if I'm coaching Kelly, which I have, I would tell her, nobody at the net when you serve. Just bring her back, get into some rallies, and not be fighting for your life at that net. There, they dodged a bullet.
They did. And I think if you're up there, you're there to volley, so then volley better.
Here we go. I think they must have heard me. God, I was talking too loud.
That was a great tip, Rod.
Now they're into a point. Now
Really
at least
smart.
we can compete.
Good adjustment.
And we, she's not happy. She'd love to have it back, but that's the game moving forward. That's the only chance they have of holding serve.
So Nicolescu and Andreikova are up 2-1. We are in the second set of our semifinal match. We are at the Chicago Charities, our second stop on the APTA Grand Prix Tour. We are sponsored by Viking. They have supplied this tournament, all the Grand Prix, all the Nationals, all kids events with balls.
Wonderful.
We are so appreciative to Viking.
As we are to all the sponsors on the snowboards across the back of the courts. Save a Tree, Uline, Fields.
But Rod, my involvement with juniors over 3 decades started with Dave Jelson when he was with Viking, and they made a commitment early on to the junior game, and they support our junior pro tour, our new initiatives. We have APTA junior play dates all over the country.
Wow.
Viking has supported the junior games every step of the way, and our growth and the progress we've made is in thanks to Viking.
15 love. David Jeltsons has done so much for the game. He's synonymous with the game of paddle. He's ubiquitous in the game. He's easy to spot.
He's a lot of things. Now can I describe him? I might go with 2 syllables or 1.
30 love. Gabby serving with her back to us. Oh, no, we're looking right at her now.
And on a serious note, Dave Chelson, #1 supporter of the game, Hall of Famer, great friend to all of us.
Absolutely. Great return of serve. Just trying to do too much with the overheads. That's what the best players in the world will do to you. They force you to try things you wouldn't ordinarily try. Those are overheads Susan never misses.
You know, Rod, I got a friend who just is giving a strategy to Lemery and Rohrback here. Carrie Delmonico is not playing this tournament. She's always been in the top 5 players for the last 10 years in the sport. She's a national champ. And she thinks, you know, when you think about spot lobbing and spot driving, Rod, that you've got to pick who you're going to lob and who you're going to go after on your drives. And I think you've got to
Great blitz. What a return by Martina down low. Gabby blitzes. Hits Kelly in the big toe. Great move.
I think you've got to pick who you're going to lob and who you're going to drive, and I think that's a game plan. That's the maturity you start to develop as a team, figuring out how to make those tactical adjustments during a match.
Well, that's what makes this game so much fun. There's so much strategy. It seems more than tennis. You're always thinking and conspiring on what to do. Once again, Kelly at the net. They're just hitting that chicken wing spot. Beautiful location from Martina. World-class forehand, world-class player. Great serve. Got a little kick off the seam there. There we go. Kelly and Susan both back, but once again Susan makes a careless error. We are going to switch to court number 2, Dardis and Shay, after this match. So stay tuned and stay on live, eNet Live.
Well, I mean, this could go 3 sets, Rod, but at the completion of this match,
Well, we'd love to see a
we'll be
three-setter.
able to pick up the action from the other semifinal.
Got a good match going on over here in court 2. 3-1 for the national champions. What a wall Gabby and Martina built. And beautiful forehand drive low at the feet from Kelly, forcing the volley error.
And that was significant. Kelly's got to take some of the offensive pressure here off Suzanne, I think.
I'm with you.
It's feeling like I feel like she's a little flat out here. And she's getting a little frustrated. She's just got to hang in here, keep moving her feet.
Keep encouraging Susan. Susan's
Get
gone
one
through
more
a bad
ball in play.
Yep, Susan's gone through a little bad patch. And she's got to play through the pain and find and right the ship. Great rip. What a volley from Gabby. Look at that doorknob forehand. Just a nice roll of the forearm. Turn it over.
But that was that short ball Kelly had, and she just kind of put it right on Martina's paddle.
Yeah.
Martina can just stand there all day long. She's never going to miss that shot.
What a location.
That's a great spot between the two players.
Anytime you can get the paddles to clash, you know you've hit it in a perfect location.
That's a great spot right there by Kelly.
Kelly located it brilliantly.
So we're at 4-2 here in the second set, Rod. I believe I just heard our umpire, Bonnie Duman, say the score.
That is correct. Kelly getting to serve again. I'm hoping that they both stay back on the baseline.
Oh, I think they will.
And try to get into a rally here.
Oh, but they didn't hear us, Rod.
Well, Sometimes you got to learn the hard way. Great shot right on the line. Great shot, Kelly. See, they won the point from the backcourt. I think their chances of winning are far better when they're in the backcourt. And that's the thing. Everybody thinks the advantage is always to the net team, and we teach it is. Get to the net, never miss an overhead, you win from the net. But you get to this level, there's some teams that would much rather be in the back and manufacturing their offense from back there.
Rod, we just got an update. Cruz and Enica are up 5-4 first set. They have had 2 set points so far over Dardis and Shay.
Wow. Kelly would like to have that one back. She had a spicy meatball teed up forehand right there. They got the pitch they wanted to hit. She dumped it in the net. And I know she knows that's unacceptable. Well, there they go. They survived the first return of serve, and now they're in the point.
It's good. Get them in the corner. Get Gabby looking into the sun there.
Exactly, Patty.
Kelly Roback serving, down 2-4, second set, semifinal match, Chicago Charities.
30-15, I think. Great rip. Look at that beautiful backhand. What a wall Susan and Kelly built.
I believe we are now, Rod, at 4-2, 40-15. Kelly Rohrback serving.
Mm-hmm.
And we've just had an update on the other women's semifinal. Cruz and Enica have won the first set 6-4 over Dardis and Shay.
We called that match yesterday. Cruz and Enica, and boy, they got some firepower. Good volley, Kelly. Back-to-back chicken wings. What a drive from Martina and a tremendous effort from Susan trying to play that screenshot. .40-30. Kelly Rohrbach serving.
Must game. They've got to win this game. Rod, I just love what Gabby did on that play. That's the maturity as a player that she's developed. She just kind of kept moving her feet until she could strike that ball at the ideal contact point. Forced an error.
That's a great tip, Patty. You keep your feet moving till you hit the ball. For sure.
I got you. And there we go. I mean, Gabby she's always explosive, but she's often gets on fire, and there's no stopping her.
Add in.
I think it's...
What a volley. Deuce. They've had 3 opportunities to hold in this game and don't have anything to show for it yet, but they keep battling. This is a game where you got to battle all the way through. There are so many long games in paddle, and the longer the game goes, the more important it is to win it, as it breaks down the spirit of the team that doesn't win a 10-deuce game. It's tough to overcome mentally sometimes.
There's that power return of serve from Gabby.
Deuce again, possibly the 5th deuce here, so we're getting into that. You have to win these games, obviously, especially for Susan and Kelly. This is a must-win game for them. If they don't win it, could be big trouble.
I think, Rod, sometimes these matches come down to the difference in fundamentals. And, Kelly's a tall girl, but she can still bend her knees. And that's what she's got to do on more of those first volleys. She
didn't get down on that one. Kelly and Susan, when they run back and play a ball off the screen, they almost always try to drive it back. I'd like to see them just throw some lobs up and try to bore the national championship team with deep lobs and wear them down a little bit. That's the old school paddle strategy. Lob in the green, drive in the purple, and unfortunately she went long.
So we're at 5-2 here in this second set of our semifinal match, and Lemery and Rohrbach had an amazing day yesterday. They took out Doten and Nuzlocke in a great, round of 16 match, 6-4, 6-4.
Wow.
Then they upset the number 4 seeds, Bodman and Hayward. So, I mean, they've had an amazing path here to the semifinals. It just seems like they've run out of gas a little bit.
Well, that match last night went close to 3 hours, I think. It was a long match. They kind of settled into a lob overhead, just refused to lose mentality. And my friend Gene Kempner, I was supposed to have dinner with him, and I didn't know what happened to him. He said I was up in the umpire's chair for 2.5 to 3 hours. So they're tired.
This is Gabby serving, Gabby Nicolescu.
And how
5-2, second set, Rod.
How frustrating for Susan and Kelly to have 4 or 5 break points, or hold points, excuse me, not get it, and then when Gabby, Martina got their first one, they broke. Instead of 4-3, it's 5-2.
Actually, Lemery and Rohrbach will top Doten Nuzlocke 6-4, 6-1. I was in error reporting that second set score.
Either way, it's
every
a W.
game counts, Rod.
W's a W. Talk to the Cubs about that W.
Quick shout out to Walter and Ann Fick. They're inside handling the live scoring behind the scenes. They are part of the group of 40 volunteers here who are helping out, make the run this event, and make the Charities stand out as one of the best Grand Prix of the year. And also thanks to Shannon Vincent, our tour director and APTA board member.
And I want to give a shout out to Don Kirk, who's responsible for all these wonderful camera angles and putting together this program at another level, and with working alongside of Rick from St. Louis at eNet Live and Brian. We hope you all are enjoying these broadcasts. It's
Thanks
integral.
to the APTA and their efforts a couple years ago to bring the game into everyone's living room, and they've done it.
And we got Shannon Vincent, Alan Graham, John Noble, our tournament directors here at the Chicago Charities, do phenomenal work, yeoman's work. Shannon was even sweeping off the leaves today.
30 love, 2 points from the match.
No!
Still 2 points from winning the match.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of a rare overhead ever there
I
by
was going
Gabby.
to say, I think you can count her number of unforced errors on both hands today. She hasn't made many.
You just see how effortless the net play is for Gabby and Martina.
Good rip.
That was great.
What
great
a rip
spot
from Kelly.
drive.
Her forehand gets better all the time. It's got a nice, tight, short, and quick motion. Gets up and across the ball for serious topspin. And she is a competitor. I will give you that.
30 all. 5-2.
I love her competitive spirit. Always loved playing with her, against her, just for fun. She always brings it.
Here it comes. That's that power roll overhead.
She's taking dead aim at that crease, trying to get a nick.
But to her credit, she better lob from Kelly. She changed her overhead. This is good. I'm loving this point for Rohrbach and Lemery right here.
This is what I thought they should have done more of. Just try to bore them, instead of not try to force things like that. I mean, this is the #1 team in the world we're playing. They got to bore them to death in hopes to get them off the net, wear them down. Maybe they get a little fatigued.
40-30 match point.
Here we go. Game, set, match. Gabby and Martina are into the finals. What a tournament for Kelly and Susan. They hold their heads high. They've done phenomenally well getting to the semifinals of a major here.
Yeah, they had a really, they had a great tournament. They should be really proud of their effort here this whole weekend. They came up short against the national champs, but everyone's coming up short against the national champs.
So,
hey, Rod, I just got some great news.
What'd you
we
get?
are going to go over to the second semifinal match here at Chicago Charities. We have a great match brewing over there with Dardis and Shay and Cruz and Enica and Liz Cruz and Roxy, as we've come to know her.
we're going to get...
They won the first set 6-4.
Perfect.
They are early in the second set.
Rick just mentioned he's going to get us an updated score imminently, and we will bring you this action live as we switched on over.
Liz Cruz serving, Cynthia Dardis returning serve.
Great serve into the body, jammy sandwich. Using another baseball term to get it in on the fist. You can't get your arms extended, weak returns. It's more of a tennis move, but it does happen here too because Liz's serve's got some pretty good giddy up on it. Caught Roxy flat-footed there on the volley.
Dardis and Shay are tournament number 2 seed and national finalists last year in Connecticut. Advantage Shay. Just heard the score from the umpire. Back to deuce. Liz Cruz serving is a national champion, having won with Anna Borzova 2 years ago.
Wow.
Roxy is a 3-time APTA mixed national champion with Juana Araya.
So they know what it's like to win the big ones, and they've got that experience.
They are the tournament number 6 seeds here.
Game, Cruz and Enica. They lead. 2 games to love. Second set.
Wow. 2-love second set here, Rod.
Dardis and Shay have to right the ship.
And Dardis and Shay always right the ship. They always find a way, Rod.
Well,
so this is a tall task. I mean, Dardis and Shay had a heck of a day to get through here to the semifinals, even though they're our tournament number 2 seed. They had an incredible 3-set match over Hanisch and Vince Darenberg. Round of, you know, a match that was 4-6, 7-6, 7-6. They fought off 4 match points to pull out the third set tiebreaker, 10-8.
wow.
They've worked hard to get here. Had a great win last night, 4-4 over Flynn and Moldenveld. I think they've worked harder to get to this semifinal match.
And to that point, it looks like it's showing a little bit. They look a little more tired, and as they should be. They've got some years on this young upstart team too. But there's no substitution for experience. Loose error by Shay. Love 30. Their court's a little more shadowy, court 2. You know, it's just tricky to see the ball when the ball comes in and out of light to dark, especially for people a little older.
Amy Shay serving. Dardis and Shay have been at top of the women's game for a decade, and they always seem to find a way. So, you know, you can't tell a lot by their body language if you've not seen them play before. They don't really spend any energy on outwardly looking bubbly, I would say, at any point in a match until they shake hands with the win. But they're always working, and they stay as a team. They support each other no matter what the score.
Great volleys from Cynthia Dardis 2 shots right at her. And let's see, Liz could have gone up the line, but she chose to go into the body twice. And what hands that Cynthia had. Wow.
40-30.
That was a beautiful shot to get that ball low on Liz Cruz's paddle. Liz moved to the net, but I mean,
Amazing.
perfection getting that right on her sneakers.
She just rolled it, took a little off it, dipped it down there, and too hot to handle from Liz. 40-30. They need this point.
We talk about a spot drive again, Rod. There it is. Liz put it. I mean, Dardis Shay had their wall. Liz found that seam right between the 2 players. We're back to deuce.
Up the middle solves the paddle riddle out there, gang. Work and probe and search that middle. Go out to the extremes on occasion, but
Rod, were you a Dr. Seuss fan as a kid?
of course I was.
You're bringing it all back here for me this weekend, and I love that.
Dr. Seuss was awesome. Great volleys. Look at the communication. You can hear Dardis and Shay extremely vocal. Those watching out there, you need to learn from that. I've always said paddle's like playing tennis in a closet. You got to communicate or someone could get hurt. You got to talk it up. There's great patience.
Advantage, Shay.
Advantage, Dardis and Shay. Desperately need to get on the board here. Down love 2, having lost the first set 6-4. Cruz and Enica, they got some firepower on both sides. Both of them, forehand, backhand, can pull the trigger anytime, anywhere. I formation. And Amy serves it right in the middle of the box. Probably like to move it around a little more, and a great return from Liz. Boy, she was so good yesterday and so consistent, and she was the stabling force on that team, with Roxy being the X factor with all the offense.
Right, but Liz can bring it on her own, and I like when she does tee off a little bit more on that forehand return to serve. I think she's going to be, she was looking to do that a little bit. We chatted yesterday after her match, and I mean, she just brought the heat right there, right at Cynthia.
And she can do it on both sides, which again gives little bailout room for the opponents. Loose screen error there. You can't miss those when you're trying to win a major paddle championship.
And this is the difference with our other matches, that Lemery Rohrbach don't have this big-time late tournament match experience that Dardis and Shay have, and that's why, you know, I always believe that they can really battle. They're never going to go away in a match.
Well, Kelly and Susan learned a lot today. They got there, got a taste of it, and now they got to decide if they want to take it up another notch. They know what they got to do, because the team they played today is going to be there for a while, it looks like, Patty. Again, I want to give a shout out to the Uline family, Liz, Dick, Duke, Brian, and Freddie. Thanks for all you've done for platform tennis and so many people here in the Chicago area.
Freddie's doing a great job as an APTA board member, really getting behind the fundraising efforts that we're going to need it as an organization to execute some of our new initiatives. And Freddie's taken hold of that effort for the APTA and is doing an outstanding job so far.
All I can say is
we love this game. We need it to grow. For growth, you need lots of, we have the volunteers, we have the passion, but contributions go a really long way. That's Roxy in a long sleeve red shirt, crushing that overhead.
good coverage. I love the way Roxy dropped back deep for the overhead, and her partner Liz almost straddles the center line to cover that drive, almost like she's playing singles to give her partner time to get in. If she pulls it up the line, Roxy's back there, play it off the screen, well played.
They know their job, they know their responsibility, they know the player to the left will cover more overheads, the player to the right can shut down with their great volleys, you know, the opponent's drives. They kind of stick with that formula a lot. They play more of a classic style in that regard.
I love watching it.
Yesterday, we just didn't see that from that many teams. There's a lot of players who hit the ball, but there's not that many teams who can play this game at the top level as a team, and that's why these two teams in particular are here in the semis.
What a point. Very exciting. They built a nice wall up there. They survived a few heavy drives. 30 love.
We talk about lobbing and the importance of it. I think Cynthia and Amy are going to have to think about who to lob, and maybe you'd like to lob Liz here, get her off the net, because Liz is a phenomenal volleyer. So if it were me, I'd like to get Liz hitting more of the overheads versus Roxy if I'm Dardis Shay.
Not sure what just happened there. It was a serve. They thought it might have been an ace. I think they called it out. Let's see how the official handles it.
And so oftentimes, Rod, there's a little discrepancy, and the beauty of this sport is the etiquette these players display all
Very
the
nice.
time. Umpire was unsighted on the line. They simply play a let. They don't get emotionally boiled up over that fact. No one.
No, well,
There's no need. You just hit delete and move on.
I don't know how the umpire, he's right there on that, right in front of him, but hey, I guess he was blinded somehow.
And that's a great drive right there. Amy Shay. We've seen that for years and years. She comes in, she spots that drive, right hip, broke down Roxy as a volleyer.
And I go back to that great sportsmanship moment there, you know, where they said, let's just play it over. And they did, and
This is Roxy serving. Liz Cruz at the net in the long sleeve white t-shirt. That's Cynthia Dardis returning from the deuce court. And that missile just came from Amy Shay in the ad court.
great play. What a drive up the middle.
30-40.
30-40, chance to get back even.
Roxy's got to contain that. She can't hit the back screen with all these cameras up there. We've got to be careful.
That shot that Roxy almost made, if she plays some squash, she'll make those shots. What a shot here by Liz. Just so smart. She was so compromised. She just arced it up, gave up the net smartly. And now they're just starting over from the back, waiting for a good ball to drive. Why do you lob? So you can drive. There it is.
You hear Cynthia kind of sounding like the boss out there a little bit. Mine, yours. There's no lack of communication ever with them as a team. That's why they're at the top of the women's game.
And drop shot was a little too deep. Liz ran it down, and then Roxy finished with her killer forehand right through the middle.
We're at deuce. Cruz and Enica up 6-4, 2-1.
That was a
Chicago
huge.
Charities,
Uh-huh.
second stop on our Grand Prix Tour, sponsored by the APTA, the American Platform Tennis Association.
Live streaming from eNet Live out of St. Louis. Good communication. I got it. She'd like to have that one back. Cynthia had a good pitch to hit. Line was open, hit it late. Maybe her footwork was just a little off.
She swung too hard, Rod. She just had to put the ball in play.
Exactly.
She's not going to hit an outright winner. Her pace won't phase these two. Put the ball in play and build your point.
Question the line call. Was it an overrule? Maybe. Yep, I think he called it good. It's deuce. Great little push overhead, soft into the corner, dives in the crease.
Advantage Cruz.
When you're on that side, you can Just push it right to that crease. You don't have to back up, hit it to the short corner there. You get a lot of winners in that situation. Good hold from Roxy. They're up 3-1 second set. Won the first set 6-4. Trying to get a berth into the finals today.
Our number 1 seeds, Andreikova and Niculescu, are already there, and they're, I'm sure, somewhere nearby watching this match.
Couldn't see what happened there. Did it hit her? 15 love. Nope, must have been out. You can hear
just kind of a flyer, Rob.
30 love.
Dardis and Shay need a quick game here.
They do. And they got to overcome the skeet shooting in the background. Those aren't serves or forehands on court 1. Those are real guns. Sloppy game here from Roxy and Liz.
This is where, as a team, for their maturity, they need to capitalize on these situations and contend, and you just can't make loose errors like that. Dardis and Shay are always going to fight you for every point. Don't make it easy for them to come back here.
Exactly. But I'll tell you what, 40 love or love 40 is an opportunity. Break someone's heart. If you can steal the games away, that you have that 40 love lead, that does great things for your psyche. And that's how you have to look at it. Loose error, a really good game for Dardis and Shay, a quick game, probably the quickest game they've had in the match.
And now Dardis and Shay are down 2-3, and that was a huge game for them. They're down 1-3. They didn't, it didn't impact their play. They dug in deep. They just played it like it was the first game of the match. And to their credit, that's what they always do when they play. And for all those other teams out there wanting to improve, I say take the page out of the Dardis Shay playbook. Play every point, play every game.
It's not over till it's over. Liz to serve, Liz Cruz. Great return, right up the gut. Another overhead, right up the gut. Again,
one more
three
point
balls
to,
in a...
to Dardis and Shay. What I was speaking to about their brilliance as a team. They have plan A and they have plan B, Rod. And then if need be, they go C, D, E. I watched some of these teams out here this weekend, and there's a plan A and a plan A. And if plan A doesn't work, they don't really know how to win a match.
That's a great point. And if you watch that point there, for you fans out there, the first 4 shots that Dardis and Shay hit were right up the middle. And if you do that the whole match, you're going to be there a while, but it works, especially when you're in trouble.
Make the court smaller for the opponents, their potential shots. The area they get to hit into has been greatly decreased by those deep down the middle shots.
Great point here.
That's a beautiful lob from Dardis out of that deuce court, cross court, over the volley or on the Cruz Enica team. It was over Roxy.
And again, uncharacteristic. She's back just behind the service line. She tried to swing it wide. I would have loved her to stick with her bread and butter middle.
That would have been a great time. Just throw that ball in play deep or even straight ahead.
Exactly. Good roller. What a point. What a play by Dardis. A little sneak attack in there. 15-30.
Liz Cruz serving. Little lucky let cord.
Part of the game, right?
All part of the game. We've all won points off it, and we've all lost points off it.
It's a good rule, though. Keeps questionable lets from being called. Nice deep serve. Cynthia nets it 40-30. That great use of the backhand volley. Hank Irvine emphasized that as much as anything. Volley with your backhand volley up there,
Game Cruz.
especially on the first volley.
Games to 2, second set.
So Amy went for a little too much there. Dardis and Shay are in a deep hole. Lost the first set 6-4, and they are down 2-4.
I like Cruz and Enica. They're getting more stable. Good use of the backhand volley. Not
Compared to-
overhitting as much.
Right, and sorry, Ron, compared to yesterday, the number of unforced errors they're making has diminished by about 90%.
What a shot by Roxy. Again, she just took what they gave her. They went Aussie, and she just slow rolled it up the line. You know, and that
She
was
took what was given to her. She
Exactly.
didn't force it, and she didn't hit it with more pace than was required.
it's the old saying is they don't draw pictures on scorecards. You know, it's not how, but how many. And unfortunate there. Love 30. Now it's gut check time.
Our number 2 team in the country, Dardis and Shay, are in a big hole here in the semifinal. Chicago Charities. And again, we don't underestimate their ability to find a way here, but it's looking a little bit less likely right now.
There's that new contemporary forehand, Western grip, just a roll of the wrist.
Nice little roll, spotted it to that right hip. That's why she won that point.
That
If she'd hit the
shot-
ball to the middle, she would have been stuffed on a backhand volley.
Exactly. Great location, great shot. That shot in that Western grip is so much easier than the old school Continental or even an Eastern. You can roll that ball and keep most of them in.
Wow.
Good serve, 15-40. Double break point
Two
for
more, yeah. 2 more break points here. And this is a moment for Cruz and Enica. They quality return, make them hit a volley here.
Let's see where they serve it. Good volley.
And that's solid. They're in the point,
Look at that rocket.
and that's a
Another
passage for
rocket.
Roxy as a player, Rod, where there's just, you've got to play the score, and your shot selection is determined by the score. Once you have a willingness to yield to that,
For sure.
you will reduce so many of the unforced errors.
What a point we
You
have
will
here.
limit them.
So impressed with Roxy today. She's a little more patient. Made a great lob to take the net over. Now that they broke, they're up 5-2 serving for the match and a berth in the finals of the Chicago Charities here in Glenview. Actually, we're in golf at the Glenview Club, and it's just gorgeous here.
Rod, I'd like to give a shout out to some of our other APTA board members and volunteers and employees who really go the extra mile here and always step up to the plate, deliver whatever we need. Isabel Caban is our tech gal.
For sure.
She's doing a great job here. This is Roxy serving up 6-4, 5-2.
Isabel's been here for forever. And
Forever?
I mean, she is a fixture, and it's good to come in the room and it's always the same people. It's a comforting feeling.
She's like that comfortable couch in your living room, isn't she?
She truly is. Look at Roxy's serve. She's got that left leg load. She explodes off the left leg. It's a contemporary serve, unlike the old roll in. She springs in. Watch, she bends, thrusts. She lands on that front foot, just like tennis. There's more and more of that coming in too from a technical standpoint. These big serves are neutralizing the big returns. I think it's important to drive more off the screen, especially when you have a hot day like today.
And the paddles have changed with the amount of grit, and the ball has changed, enabling these players to hit with these spins. And Roxy's one of the players out here who just has beautiful technique, and because of her grip variety, she can hit the spins. That was not her finest game, but delete button, they're still up 5-3 here in the second set.
And I love the new game, and I like
Well-
to give a shout out to my friend Brian Uline, who changed the game of paddle with his super spins 15 years ago. I remember Hank Irvine saying he thought Brian would never last because he would throw his shoulder out with all that super spin. But once he got command over it, he changed the game. And now all the players, even the gals, the top gals, are using the cut super slice overheads, the rollers. I remember Scott Mansager, I thought was the first one I knew that hit that shot a lot, was very good at keeping the ball low.
Out from Chicago, I saw a lot of the guys. Kleiner brothers used to hit that roll all the time.
It's just
I
a
saw
great
it out
shot.
of Broomberg Williams, another national championship team out of New Jersey. So I just think more people have bought into it.
It works. That's why they do it. And
So Dardis and Shay have just made an amazing leap, and they're ahead 23-5 here in the second set.
we just set a new precedent.
I think that's a home team scorer there.
I'm telling you, 23-5 will be tough to overcome.
I didn't know that was part of the playbook. I didn't know you could influence the scoring.
Innovative now. It's 5. Who knows what? The old question mark.
Cynthia Dardis is serving here, down 3-5.
Great drive from Roxy. She made Amy flip that forehand volley. Amy stuck it back, no problem. Here's the hard roller. Look how she lets it go through. She could have stuck her paddle out there. She knew her partner was back there.
And that's a change from Amy Shay. She's known for a beautiful shot off her overhead that she lets the ball drop and hits a slice. That's her known shot. I love her bringing the heat, too.
And look at the ham and egg combo platter there. You have the huge high lob from Roxy. And those high lobs, what do? They create offensive opportunities. Liz is laying in the weeds. Bang for a winner.
30-15. Cynthia Dardis is serving. To say this is a must-have game is an understatement, Rod.
Well, it's win it or go home. Get your party favor
Yeah.
at the door and
Head to O'Hare.
see if you can get a different airline flight. Move it up a smidge. As you know, Dardis and Shay planned as though they'd be in the finals.
Great teams expect to be there, Rod.
Exactly. What a get, what a drive up the line. Again, a little roll reversal.
Right away, you see these teams settle in. You see the transition game is effortless for both these two teams. Uncharacteristic little display from Liz Cruz there. I don't know if Nadia was watching. I hope not. Nadia is her beautiful little daughter.
40-15.
And Roxy's son, I'm sure, is out there watching.
They both had babies last year.
They did. Back on tour, and now their games, they're going back up to that level of play here that they're capable of as a team.
Well, their future's bright. This team could win national championship, for my money. I mean, they're still green in some sense.
And
you
they're
know?
young, Rod.
Well, that's what I mean. They're green, they're young, they're only going to get better. And I mean that in a positive way. They just incrementally, you get better with experience. And you take some losses trying to be too offensive at the wrong time.
I think it's 40-30.
I think you're right. Deuce,
I think it's deuce.
2 points away from the finale. I mean, this game really gets down to just driving the ball at the right time. When you're going to drive, you get into the athletes at this level, they get serve well, return well. Now we get into the cat and mouse of it.
Well, we've got such explosive weapons with those forehands in the game, and awesome two-handed backhands. You've got a volley. You've got to have every part of the game. If you have a deficit in your game, you're not going to be able to come through in these
Exactly. And she
late
hit
in these draws in these national ranking tournaments.
must have hit the crease, get their first match ball here. Liz is looking for a good pitch to hit. Maybe a Zobrist. Oh, look at that. Off-speed Zobrist.
So this is match point, Rod,
Sure is.
against our number 2 seeded team.
That looked a little squashy from Roxy. Up, back to Deuce.
Liz couldn't believe her good fortune. She made a great move, got herself up that side screen with great footwork, and had a shot, just got a little too excited.
Her spacing, she was just a little too close, couldn't get the leverage. Getting the right spacing to drive the ball and hit it is key. And
Back to Deuce. Cynthia Dardis serving.
look at Roxy here. Roxy's becoming a rock star.
We are on ENET Live, the APTA network.
Look at this lob volley. Get out of there. Playing smart. Yep. Starting to show much more experience. Look at that shot.
Look at the footwork on the baseline team. You see that Liz goes over. She's ready to trail the play.
Roxy, if she plays within herself like that, she doesn't need to overpower the ball. She can go at that tempo and be a national champion.
Well, she's a 3-time mixed national champion, and to be able to compete against the best guys in the game, I think is the most remarkable thing in the sport. And Roxy holds her own in that. And she is at the head of the class in that right now in the sport.
And Liz is
Match
a great
point
anchor.
number 2
Liz,
against Dardis Shay.
Liz compliments her perfectly. This is a good team. Game, set, match. Big hug. Happy time.
Well, that's a little bit of a surprise to some. And I think we're going to have an exciting women's final.
I think so too. We got some firepower. It'll be a fast paddle match. There'll be a lot of sizzle. You know, there'll be some lobbing.
There'll be a lot. We're going to see a little bit of everything because these teams are all able to counter what the other team does. We'll have lots of momentum swings, spectacular shot making for the best women in the game you'll see out there on display. It's a great day here in Chicago, and we're going to wind it up here. Cruz and Enica over Dardis and Shay, 6-4, 6-3.
We're going to get an interview from our winning team, I believe, coming in here, and we're just very happy to have them. Liz Cruz, Roxy, Enica. They're back. They're going into the finals. They got to be happy. Mark Fischel's going to grab Roxy and Liz and get a little recap from the girls. A well-played match. Great job. Mark, all you.
Liz, Roxy, what was the difference today, Liz?
Well, the chemistry, I think we were talking more, we were more calm when, like when we were going up, and then we feel like we were rushing too much, but then Roxy and I think we settled down. When I was rushing, Roxy was helping me. When she was rushing, I was helping her. So I think like we have a good combination today, because it's like both were not rushing. That's why we were losing too fast. So she helped me and I helped her.
So Roxy helped you not rush? Because Roxy's very good at rushing. She knows a lot about rushing.
Yeah, I rush. I do. But I'm happy that it turned out this way, and I feel more confident today and going to the final. I feel great.
You look much more relaxed to me today, Roxy. You weren't quite as jumpy. You weren't quite as willing to swing at the ball. I mean, one of those last points, you got caught in the backhand side. You made a great get off the nick, and you just kind of waited patiently till you got your shot, and then you executed.
Yes, that was great. I'm happy it turned that way, and I gotta stay that way for the finals.
Liz, this club's got good memories for you.
Yeah.
National championship here.
This is my hometown.
What are your thoughts on the finals?
Well, it's going to be tough, but it's going to be fun. We're going to try our best and give a good show.
All you could ask. Good luck in the finals, ladies.
Thank you.